Here we go. I'm live. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. What the heck? Why does it do that? Alright, whatever. I guess I have to hold the phone sideways like this for YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Steve Fox. How's it going, everybody? Let's see the view here. See if I can switch the camera. Woo! I want to go sideways. It's such a better picture sideways, but I guess I'm not allowed to do that with my phone. We got Switzerland. What's up? Marco Basile in Switzerland. That sounds like a Spanish name, my friend. Steve O in Seattle. What's up, Steve? Anita in Syracuse, New York. What's up, Anita? Phil Valley. Good day, sir. Mark McGee over there in Tejas. Don't mess with Texas. What's up, Beb Meyer? How's it going? Brianna.
Today's coming right now.
What are you doing right now? You guys want to say hi to Ari?
I'm going to dress up and put all the satchel on petals in the horse.
Cool.
That's down in.
Ari's gonna go ride her horse. Ariana got a horse yesterday. Pretty crazy. We have 2 horses here now. We have like 10 chickens. 2 horses now.
Not
How many chickens do we have? 9 chickens.
9 hens and 1 rooster.
9 hens and a rooster. Daisy has been pushing her depopulation agenda on the chickens. She's slowly and surely. Holly, what's up? What are you doing? Michael Rochin, Letitia Rocca, Brooke Barlow in Arizona, James Young. We got Texas all over the place. Logan in Utah, or Aaron Logan, Utah. Marco Basile with the Italian name. Oh, I'm so sorry. Not Spanish, Italian. We got Iceland, Leonard. We got Livingston, Montana, Lancaster, California. We just got people from all over. We got Faith in London. What's up, Faith? Z Sigger says, horses are good protein. Sounds like a...
Don't rack you.
Yeah. All right. Moshing Fanger says, hey, enjoy your content. I've been doing keto for the last 3 years. I say about 86% of the time. And I've lost 125 pounds and have kept it off. Whew. That's so cool. Moshing Fanger, congratulations. Congrats on the progress, my friend. 125 pounds, that's insane. And it's all windy. I want to come outside and get in the natural light, but the wind is going to kill it. So I'll just sit right here and get partial natural light. You feel it a little bit. Well, that's freaking amazing, man. 125 pounds in 3 years. That's really cool. Thanks for enjoying the content. That's amazing, man. 125 pounds in 3 years. Keep it going. Gina Owens, what's up, Gina? We've got Ohio, Fort Hood, Texas. We've got loads of people tuning in today. Do you believe in 20 grams across the board or independent carb tolerances? Sometimes upwards of 50 grams, as well as differences depending on body makeup, size, etc. Wolfhawk 1999. I'm gonna party like it's 1999. Remember 1999? Remember Y2K? Remember Y2K.12, 12 years later? All right. No, I don't believe in 20 grams across the board. 20 grams across the board will work for most, I'd say like 98.8% of individuals. But we all have individual carb tolerances and we all have an individual context. So if I am highly active, if I'm like doing intense sprinting, intense resistance training plus intense cardio, I'm going to be able to handle some more carbohydrates. If I have a lot of lean muscle mass, if I just have a fast metabolism genetically or epigenetically, I will be able to handle more carbohydrates and still be in ketosis. So everybody's going to have their own individual carb tolerance. But 20 grams, as far as like fat loss, right? If you're going for, say you got 125 pounds to lose in 3 years, like my buddy just mentioned, 125 pounds to lose, 20 grams is a good place to stick, right? I mean, you got 125 pounds to lose and you're losing an incredible amount of body fat and you've got a long road ahead of you, right? It takes us a long time to get fat and it takes us a lot of time to get unfatted. So yeah, if you're obese, if you're just doing keto for general fat loss, then 20 grams is a safe bet. But we do all have individual carb tolerances. I could probably eat 50 grams and still be in ketosis, but 50 grams for me is kind of a lot of carbs. Actually, when I go off keto, when I'm doing off keto eating, when I eat more carbohydrates seasonally, or just whenever I feel like it, I'll probably end up at about 70 grams of total carbs. So, and I might even be in ketosis there. But you know what? I'm not wasting my money on all these blood ketone strips all the time. One thing you're not going to see on this channel, and you'll actually see me ranting against it all the time, you're not going to see me promoting the use of these blood ketone test strips. They're useless to me. The blood ketone strips will tell you if you're in ketosis. What they won't tell you is if you're successful with what you're trying to do. The goal for me is not ketosis. The goal for me is life. The goal for me is having enough energy to get through my day, having focused mental clarity, being on point. I want to live. So I have subjective markers that I'm looking at rather than just quantifying it with these with a little gigapet thing. You know, and one of the main reasons I really don't like this whole trend of everybody repeating and parroting this this meme of the blood ketone meter is it gets people into a state of confusion. People start measuring their ketones. They don't know really what they're measuring, right? We start measuring our ketones. We don't understand that we're going to have lower blood ketones due to certain activities. You measure your blood ketones right after a workout, it's going to be less. You measure your blood ketones right after a meal. Ketones plummet after a meal. You measure your blood ketones right after taking MCT oil. You're going to get a different result. There are many ways that you can shift your blood ketone levels, and blood ketone levels do not equate to results. It's raining. You guys hear that? We got a real rain coming. Or maybe a mellow one. So anyways, I think it's crazy that so many people are out there. You look on YouTube, right? And that's like the meme. Everybody's doing the keto vlogs now, right? So you'll notice this one common behavior among all these YouTube things is everybody's measuring their blood ketones all the time. Like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to measure my blood ketones. You poke your finger. It's this whole like ritualistic thing, right? Like you get in this mind state. You're all excited. You pull out your stupid little gigapet thing and, okay, I'm going to push the buttons. I'm going to poke my finger. There's the rush of poking your finger. Your blood comes out. You put it on the strip. You feed your blood to the little gigapet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it tells you the number. Oh, I'm in ketosis, or oh, I'm not in ketosis. It creates this funny mind state. And that's the mind state that people market to. The mind state of confusion, the mind state of insecurity. That is one of the biggest... it's one of the most profitable mind states that you can get an audience in. And the blood ketone strips are really cool for that. And a lot of these people that are repeating this crap and, you know, with their keto channels and stuff, or measuring their blood ketones all the time, well, it's all about the ketones. They don't really understand the full extent to which they're just wanking themselves. But what they're doing to their audience is they're creating this confusion state, right? You're promoting this confusion state with people measuring their blood ketones, and then you market to that confusion state. And luckily, when those people are in that confusion state, the interesting thing, the fascinating part about the herd psychology of all this, right? The propaganda psychology, read Edward Bernays, the early, some of the early PR stuff, the early marketing material, the early 20th century. All these methodologies have been long practice. So anyways, you get them in this mind state of fear, of anxiety. Oh, my blood ketones aren't high enough, or oh, I just don't understand what I'm doing, right? No matter how often somebody measures their blood ketones, 90% of the people doing it don't know what the heck they're measuring, don't understand the context in which they're measuring them. So if you don't understand the context, it makes it really easy for someone to confuse you. You get all confused and you've already bought in, right? You've already bought these blood ketone strips. You've already bought the test meter. You've already gone through the physical ritual of, you know, drawing your blood, putting it in the test meter. And so you've already, when people buy into something, if somebody buys a product, they will actively and unconsciously behave in a way that will justify that purchase, right? Like that's why when somebody buys something, they value it more. So people buy these blood strips and they automatically value it. They've paid their hard-earned money for it. So then unconsciously, they're trying to justify this purchase, but also, because you've already bought in, the gurus have got you. You bought in one time, you bought the stupid blood test strips, and they're just making you more confused. So now you get more confused, you go back to the guru, you go back to their YouTube channel or whatever, you start going to them for consultations because you want to figure out, why are my ketones not high enough? Why am I a failure? I don't really understand this. And it's this endless loop of harvesting money from people using the same cycle. So, I'm not saying that it's completely useless to ever measure your blood ketones, but that's why you will not see me promoting the mass measurement of blood ketones. It's pointless for most people. All right, let's see. What kind of razor do you use on your head? I don't use a razor. Actually, when I shave my head, I use I got this little, I'll show you. This thing. Aaron, this is what I was using lately. I just got this a couple weeks ago. It's just like a little Walls shaver thing. It gets real close. But it came with the attachment that'll like actually go to the deep, like all the way. It'll go all the way. So I used that the other day to shave it totally smooth because I like how it feels when it's like that. All right. Letitia says, I've never measured my ketones in here. We don't have the test strips, but I don't mind it. I'm losing weight and feeling great. That's what's up. See, another thing that these test strips do when you're sacrificing your blood to the chia pet, or to the giga pet rather, we are externalizing our senses in so many ways these days. Most people have no idea what they really feel. I mean, think about it. Think about how disconnected we get from our body, how disconnected we get from our own mind, from our own thoughts through cultural programming. I mean, you watch the news enough, you won't have any original thoughts, right? Most of our imaginations are driven and influenced through media. Just walked into a new room and the vibe changed and I lost my train of thought. It's kind of, all right, over here it's nice. It's raining, but I'm not in the rain and it's not windy. So, anyways, yeah, we're outsourcing with all this data, with all this stuff. We're outsourcing our sensory perception a lot of the times. It's like, do you feel better? Like, I can feel when my inflammation is low. I can feel when my digestion's working well. I can feel when I'm sleeping well. I can feel when I wake up in the morning, have energy, when my libido's high. I can feel it. I'm not so disconnected from my body that I can't connect with what I actually feel. And measuring the blood ketones, it's this feedback loop of disconnecting us from actually feeling what's going on in our body, right? Everybody's worried about, everyone wants the quantified way. Everybody wants to quantify everything. How are you going to quantify happiness? How do you quantify real happiness, real connection to life, real resonance with your surroundings? How do you quantify that? And when we're constantly looking to the blood ketone meter to tell us how we are doing, what our worth is, if we're being successful at our diet, we're missing the point. And you're sacrificing your blood to a freaking gigapet. Your Tamagotchi's eating your blood every day. And you're spending dollars and dollars and dollars. You buy Jimmy Moore's new one. It costs you send Jimmy Moore $1 every time you measure your blood ketones. Do ketones equal results? He's had high ketones for how many years now, supposedly? All right. Catalin in Romania, what's up? Okay, Steve O says, Tristan, what do you think of fat/calorie cycling on keto? Calorie cycling, intuitive eating, these are all different words for the same thing of fluctuating the amount of food intake that we have according to our needs, according to our activity levels, and this is very valid. It's a more advanced technique, calorie cycling, but it is a really good way for people who are either trying to lose body fat or people who are trying to gain muscle to do it. So yeah, I think calorie cycling can be great. I cycle my calories all the time. I go through when I'm adding lean muscle mass or if I'm trying to lose body fat, what I will do is I will cycle my deficit or my surplus. So I'll go into a surplus for maybe like 5 days. Well, I'll eat a little bit more protein than normal and more fats. Then after those few days, I'll back off a little bit off of the fats, decrease the calories a bit, sensitize myself, train pretty hard, make my body hungry to soak that stuff up, then I'll increase the calories again. Right? That's kind of like a lean mass bulking phase cycle that I'll do sometimes if I'm trying to add lean mass, which I haven't been recently. How do you figure out grams to ounces per lean muscle body weight? Google. Convert grams to ounces, my friend. 28.5 grams per ounce. High school pot dealer math. All right. Let's see. Tomorrow I will be 4 weeks on keto and lost 12 pounds. 12 pounds in 4 weeks. Letitia, congratulations. All right, so confused. Glucose is 105 fasted state and blood ketones 0.3. Urine strips dark purple. Yes, you're confused. You're confused because you've been led down a road of confusion by gurus of confusion who will now be able to effectively market to that confusion state. So you don't know what you're measuring. You probably never measured blood glucose before. You're not a diabetic. You're measuring your blood glucose. It's 105. What time did you measure it? Did you measure it after a meal? Did you measure it after a night of poor sleep? Both of these things would shoot the blood glucose up. Also, just because your blood glucose is 1.5 or 105 doesn't mean that you're unhealthy. You could have low hemoglobin A1C. There are many different things that can affect blood glucose fluctuation. Your ketones at 0.3 means nothing. That means nothing. You're not in ketosis, but what is your goal? You're trying to lose body fat? Ketones don't equal fat loss. All right, so stop. All right, watch the video that I just put out today. Should I measure my blood ketones, or how often should I measure blood ketones? Check that video out. It's going to give you some perspective on what the heck I'm talking about here. And yeah, don't fetishize that state of confusion. Keep it simple. Get enough protein. Eat 0.8 grams per pound of your lean body mass in protein. Keep your carbs low. Safe bet, 20 grams net carbs. That'll get most people in ketosis. And you will be in ketosis, which is not the goal for you, likely. Just assuming from your question. But yeah, measure your progress by what your goals are. If your goal is fat loss, measure your fat loss. You're wasting money on these blood ketone strips, my friend. I could see that you're trying to lose body fat, right? So I'm assuming you're trying to lose body fat from your picture. So my friend, blood glucose 105 fasted state. Okay, that's fine. It's going to go down once your insulin resistance goes down. Your insulin resistance will go down when you lose excess adipose tissue. So lose that extra body fat, and your insulin sensitivity is going to improve, and your blood ketones will improve, and your blood glucose will improve. But you're probably wasting time and money and energy measuring it. Measure other things. Your subjective energy throughout the day, how are your energy levels? Do you feel energetically stable throughout the day? Can you get stuff done? Are you feeling good? And are you losing body fat? Ariel, what's up, Ariel? I got some pea sticks for the beginning part. I like to see progress, so the darker the color made me want to keep going. Now I don't really measure it at all. Well, see, there you go. But you know what you just said it right there, what you were doing. It was just a simple trick. It was just a simple mental trick. So for you, it worked, measuring your urine. Maybe instead, measuring just energy levels throughout the day, right? So if you normally crash at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, if you're not crashing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's a better way to subjectively tune into what we're feeling, what's around us, and what we're actually experiencing in our life. Because we want to be able to quantify this through our vessel of senses. We've got all these senses for a reason. We need to stop outsourcing our sensory perception to these devices. Hi from London, Chube Drava. Emolier, what's up? Says, I was just watching another one of your videos and saw your live. That's funny. Aloha from Oahu, love your channel. Can you speak a little bit about the connection of chitin and the gut biome? Chitin. All right, so chitin is a very interesting thing. One of the most popular products that's been used for a long time with chitin, and we talked about chitin with Dr. Grace Liu the other day. So if you want to actually go to that podcast, we mentioned it when Andrew Scarborough asked about eating insects. Insects are actually a huge source of chitin. Chitin can be very antifungal, can help bind up toxins like ammonia and stuff and bring it out of the body. And it's very good for, supposedly, getting rid of certain parasites. So yeah, chitin can be a great addition to a regime of gut health, but it's all about the context, right? Diatomaceous earth, you got to be sure it's from a good source. There can be heavy metal contamination in it, and of course, not everything is for everybody. Okay, Brian Street, what's up, man? Brian Street says ketosis / not in ketosis equals just what fuel is in your engine burning. Doesn't mean anything, really. Love how Tristan is trying to wake us up from the latest hype. Look, it doesn't even mean what fuel you're burning. Really, though, like you can have elevated ketones and still be burning glucose, and it's not a binary system. Everybody likes to pretend like it's either sugar burner, ketone burner. It's actually not like that. Parts of your body are using glucose all the time. Parts of your brain need glucose all the time. So, it is what it is. GKitty99 says, hey man, it took me 3 years of different dieting strategies and weight training to go from 330 pounds to 185 pounds. But for the last 2 years, I fell off from depression, 2 injuries and a surgery this August. Sitting at 260 now. I know I was okay with dairy on keto. What do you suggest for the fastest way to get back on keto? Get enough all right, so you're at 260 pounds, you got a significant amount of fat to lose. Get enough protein in. 0.8 grams per pound. Oh!
Hey!
It's Jessica. Naked rider. No baby dick.
There's none to be seen.
Alright. So. Alright, man, you want to get back on keto. Let's just get back on it. I mean, really, here's what I want you to look at. First of all, you've already identified it, but I want you to look at the reasons and the excuses that came up that helped you to jump off of your diet. What was the stressor? And you mentioned depression, 2 injuries, then surgery. You know, injuries will cause depression, surgery, inflammation, all this stuff can be intimately linked for depression, with depression rather. So what I would do is focus on decreasing your inflammation and getting sufficient sleep. GKitty99, also you want to get sufficient sunlight. You want to get your circadian rhythm right. The circadian rhythm is one of the most important, definitely, the most important factor for keeping inflammation levels low and keeping your response to food in check. People who have disturbed sleep, people who aren't sleeping well, who are stressed out, have disrupted circadian rhythm, have poor blood glycemic control, have poor blood glucose response to foods. All right, let's see. This thing, why can't I? Orientation is locked.
No.
Why is orientation locked? All right. Sorry guys, the camera is like sideways, but my phone won't let me go the other way. This broadcast will just be with the sideways camera. So anyways, GKitty99, get back on track. Set up your life so that if a situation arises and the same stressors come, so you don't make the same decision. You want to decrease that inflammation while you're healing from these injuries and from the depression, which could be just from the inflammation from the injuries and surgery. And just get back on it, man. Get enough protein, 0.8 grams per pound of your lean body mass. Keep your carbs low. And fat is your energy source. In the beginning, eat as much fat as you desired. Go ad libitum. But then after a few days, your hunger is going to drop. At that point, drop your fats back and restrict your dietary fats so as to burn your body fat. Right? So I'm not sure exactly what your macros will be, but that gives you a good idea on how to set it up. Becky Boo says, just put a review on your website for the Ketogenic Cookbook. Thank you so much, Tristan and Jessica. Thank you. Holly Reader says, reading the Ultimate Guide to Low Carb Baking, and it's amazing. Holly's actually a current client of mine who I sent the book to today. I'm glad you like it, Holly. It's actually really good. The baking book, The Ultimate Guide to Low Carb Baking. There's 2 books now from Jessica. The first one is the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, which Becky Boo was talking about. And that book is incredible for beginners, for creating your foundation of nutritional habits and it's the basics, it's the essentials, nutrient-dense whole foods. And the baking book is like taking it another step up, and it's actually really, really awesome for the holidays, right? You got Thanksgiving next week. There's some really awesome pies and stuff in there, things that you can share with people that are low carb, that'll keep you on your diet, that they don't even have to know it's low carb. they'll think it's delicious. So it's actually a nice bridge for family and friends too, to start the conversation without trying to shove it down somebody's throat dogmatically, trying to convert the heathen to keto. Ariel says, I became obsessed with pea sticks for like 2 weeks, then I realized that it was unhealthy for me to measure all the time. Yeah, probably. Why can't I? What do you think of cyclical keto? I think for most people, it keeps them in the same negative cycle that they've been in for a long time. I think a cyclical ketogenic diet sounds nice on paper. It sounds like, oh wow, I'm going to get all the benefits of keto, but all the benefits of carbs. When in reality, you kind of get all the negative effects of carbs and all the negative effects of keto adaptation. So I don't recommend doing refeeds. I don't recommend doing cheat days or cheating yourself. I'm not into that. I've been talking about it since the beginning. I've seen it mess up a lot of people's progress. What's important is maintaining. Doesn't matter what diet you're on, but the important part is that you can maintain it long term. Cyclical ketogenic diet offers many opportunities and stumbling blocks for people to jump off of that path. Kukul says the world is mind, meaning so much of life depends on your perception of life. Part of the world is mind, logos, the word. The world is not just mind, but part of the world is mind. You look at every esoteric tradition, that's part of it. But to say all the world is mind is a distortion of all these esoteric traditions. If your perception is off, life can get very difficult, says Kukul Khan. Right on. All right, Anita says, but don't you think intermittent fasting gets you into ketosis better? Well, sure, fasting will get you into ketosis. Better than what? What are you talking about there? Intermittent fasting will get you into ketosis if you're on a ketogenic diet. Intermittent fasting might every once in a while put you in the outskirts of ketosis if you're not eating carbs. Intermittent fasting is a really big marketing point right now, and lots of people are jumping on the bandwagon because they go on Google AdWords and they just market to that, and they make their personality all about what's popular. Intermittent fasting can be really useful though. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a marketing fad, guys. All right. If the body burns dietary fat before body fat, how are all these people losing weight by eating ridiculous amounts of fat? Okay. All right, let me read this comment again. If the body burns dietary fat before body fat, how are all these people losing weight by eating ridiculous amounts of fat? What people are you talking about? You talking about Jimmy Moore? He's gaining weight, dude. The guy's like 400 pounds plus now. Nobody's losing fat by eating ridiculous amounts of fat. Now, some people, when they eat a ketogenic diet, their hunger will naturally drop, and then they don't have to count calories or track or anything. For a lot of people, their hunger is naturally low on keto, and they don't have to track anything. But that doesn't mean they're eating ridiculous amounts of fat. You can eat as much fat as you want and lose body fat. See Jimmy Moore. I'm not picking on him. It's just, it is what it is. All right. Can I take a free day in keto? I don't know. Can you? Sure. Can I take a free day in keto? That's such a funny question, right? Can I take a free day in keto? Take as many free days as you want on whatever diet you want. Yvonne says, I love your videos and learn a lot about good health. Thank you. 40.7 pounds down in 4 months. There you go. You're counting every single pound and every 0.7 of a pound. Good job. Can you talk about intermittent fasting for women, says Letitia. Yeah, I've talked about this a lot. Intermittent fasting can be stressful for women, more so than men. Intermittent fasting can be stressful for anybody. If you're not getting enough sleep, your cortisol rises in the morning. If you're not blunting that cortisol response soon, you keep it elevated. If you're not eating till the afternoon, that's elevated stress hormones. So, yeah, women tend to have more issues with stress hormone production on intermittent fasting, and for that reason, I usually don't have most women intermittent fast intensely. All right. I have histamine reactions to eggs and avocado. Have you seen a reversal with these reactions in those who eat keto? All right, so the histamine reactions, of course, I'm not a doctor. You got to consult your doctor, but you're looking at gut microbiota imbalances usually. Histamine reactions are not usually like set in stone, right? Get the gut right, get the permeability down, and heal that gut, which is, it takes years. It takes a multifaceted approach, but it's probably not just like as simple as, oh, keto is going to reverse your histamine reactions to foods. But there's hope. Like, I'm not saying that you won't get results with it. Cutting out histamine producing foods for a while and letting the gut heal might be a really good thing to do. Of course, chicken, duck, avocado, stuff like that. These are all keto-friendly foods. Kyle Smith says, have you experienced with psilocybin or with lion's mane? Those are two totally different things, man. Yeah, I had lion's mane the other week. Did you guys see a picture on Instagram? It had like 2 pounds of lion's mane mushrooms here. Psilocybin, I mean, I first had psilocybin when I was 16 years old. So yeah, I've tried them both many times. All right, Louis says, I'm 355, down from 415 in 7 weeks. Is it bad that I can only do under 1,500 calories a day? No, it's great, man. You're 355 pounds, down from 415 in 7 weeks. Congratulations, you're taking your life back. That's amazing. 1,500 calories a day, you got a lot of body fat to lose. You got a lot of body fat to burn, rather. That means you got a huge reserve tank right there. You don't have to worry about, oh, your metabolism's going to slow down, you're going to wreck your metabolism, metabolic damage, brah. None of that stuff. You're fine. You've got body fat to burn. Your body knows what's going on. Your body knows that it can burn the body fat and it feels good doing it. Listen to the body. Burn that body fat. Don't worry about, oh, I'm not eating enough calories, this and that. Your body's stored so much. Your body's stored so many of these calories in the form of fat, and now it's ready to release them. You're ready to burn them, to get that off. What do you think of coffee enemas? I don't think about them too much. I think everything has its place, right? Coffee enemas. All right, Rima says, what's your Snapchat account? I don't have a Snapchat account. I try to stay off most social media, and here's my thing with social media, right? So here I am on YouTube. I put the link up for YouTube on the Facebook page, send people to the content, whatever. Yes, we put out content using some of these platforms. I don't even consider YouTube a social media platform, but it's funny, it's becoming that now, right? With the live hangout stuff. So, the reason I don't like to promote a lot of this stuff, or the reason you don't see us doing the standard, like, you know, I don't know, we don't have like a verified Instagram account. I don't even know how to do that. I don't know how you go about doing these things. I hear people pay a lot of money for those. Anyways, here's the thing with social media. Social media is designed to get you to spend as much time on social media as you possibly can. YouTube's recommended videos, all the algorithms, the advertisement, everything is there to make you spend as much time as possible on Facebook. And now YouTube's the same way. So the way that YouTube works with its algorithms is it promotes channels that get lots of engagement from people, meaning people stay on YouTube and just keep cycling it and wasting their time. So it creates this echo chamber type effect, right, where you're targeting vulnerable populations who are, you know, vulnerable to wanting to spend a lot of time on social media. And what I'm getting at is the practices that get promoted, right? Like, oh, like my video, share my video, comment down below. You know, it's all about spending more and more time on the actual platform. And I'm not into building these other people's platforms, right? Like, I'm using this to reach out through the grid and try and help people out. Try and lift people up. Try and inspire people, educate people, and raise this whole game up. So that's the game, right? So that's why you see all these channels with, like, everybody's doing the clickbait titles. Everyone's got the same content over and over again. It's because the echo chamber of Google and YouTube promotes these things. It promotes homogeneity, and it promotes practices that keep people zoning out on YouTube all day. So that's why I don't have it. That's my answer to what's your Snapchat account name. I don't have Snapchat. I try to stay off this stuff. Right? Get off social media. Like, let's actually live. There's a whole world out there waiting for you, beckoning you, yet our face is glued to this thing. And oh man, I watched somebody on a recent hangout said, you gotta watch Gary Vaynerchuk. So I looked up Gary Vaynerchuk. And it's so funny. It's like I watched 15 minutes of this lecture, and the whole thing, he starts out by talking about how basically we're all going to mend with machines. In 20 years, we're all going to have glasses in our eyes that'll shift between real reality and virtual reality, and it's going to be awesome. We're not going to have to live in the real world anymore. It's like, to me, this is all crazy talk. I love the real world. I love life. I love being able to look into humans' eyes. And what this dude said was so alarming. He was like, for entrepreneurs, that phone, everyone's telling you not to spend time on your phone. This is what this guy Vaynerchuk was saying. Everyone's telling you entrepreneurs not to spend time on your phone. He's like, I said F that. He says F everything. Like he drops the F bomb all the time to try and sound humble. He's like this 50-year-old guy with white hair, this old New York, it's funny. But he says, you hear the thunder? He says, I don't care if you don't look another human being in the eyes for the rest of your life. This is where you need to be all day, on your phone, making contacts, hustling. Right, so now the millennials, like my whole generation, is just all hyped up on, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur. So you get YouTube is just full of this stuff, right? And then you got to get on the Snapchat. You got to spend your time on Instagram. You got to do this. You want to be successful. You got to spend all your time on social media. And you know what? We do these live events. We throw some pictures up on Instagram every once in a while and stuff. But we are proof that you don't need to do all this stuff. You don't need to be building Instagram's platform for them. You don't need to be building Snapchat, YouTube. You can actually build your own platform. You can reach out through there and have real content that has a real message that's not just the homogeneity, the herd mentality, the gotta make a quick buck, gotta get people to pay attention and waste their time on YouTube all the day. Snapchat. I don't even know what Snapchat word does. All right. What are your thoughts of a maintenance day once a week or two where you increase fat by about 30% above your daily macros for fat loss so your body doesn't adapt to lower calorie intake? Stop plateaus. All right, so that's as far as accelerating fat loss by a 30% increase in daily caloric intake through fat every once in a while, that's not going to really make much of a it's not going to make a difference. Leptin levels can get low in calorie-restricted states after a long period of time, but leptin can be reset after about 3 days of eating at maintenance calories. Someone says, Tristan, if you're using your Apple phone, scroll up and press the padlock button. Where's the padlock button? All right, how's this? Oh, did it work? No? Can I go sideways now? No, I can't. It doesn't work. My padlock, I'm locked. I'm locked in, guys. Sorry. We're widescreen the wrong way, but just listen. Smoked Dogs Smoky says CKD, meaning cyclical ketogenic diet, carb refeeds are like a Coke binge for some. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like a binge. Like you start storing up oh man, my next cheat day is coming up. I'm going to stock up on all the junk food that I shouldn't be eating. And then you do your binge, and then you feel crappy afterwards. You feel guilty. You feel ashamed. Just like a freaking Coke binge, right? Just like most hardcore drugs. And I'm not saying that carbs are like drugs. But I'm saying for people who are trying to lose body fat, you're going to stick yourself in a really muddy place if you try to do a cyclical ketogenic diet. Sana Hudson says, hey Tristan, what do you think of adding a quarter cup of blueberries or strawberries to a pea protein shake? Okay, so if you're just starting keto, you want to avoid the berries. Wait till you've become adapted. Wait a few weeks. That's what I'll say about that. Rose May Bud, do you think eating more of your food in the morning and tapering off during the day is the best way to go? I know you rate a good breakfast, but what about the breakfast like a king, etc. idea? Totally, yeah. I think a big breakfast, tapering off the food throughout the day, can be a really good way to go. That's the way I like to eat on many days. The rain is getting intense, guys. I might have to close this broadcast down soon because it's getting so loud in here. Paul Sickles says, hey coach, I have a police academy test today that's intense cardio wise. I've been keto for a month now. Should I supplement with Gatorade? No, you'll be fine. Take at least a teaspoon of salt beforehand, and you'll be okay. Make sure your magnesium, your potassium the day before are good, and you should be fine. What's a great indicator that a ketogenic diet isn't best suitable for that person? Fad dieting, like a history of jumping around between diets, can be an indicator that somebody won't stick with it. Somebody who doesn't have a strong resolve to actually change their life might not do that well on keto. So yeah, I don't know. If somebody's stuck in a vegan dogma, they shouldn't do keto. Keto vegan is not. It's very restrictive. All right. Moshing Fanger says, when first losing weight, I never added carbs. Now that I'm at goal weight, I'll occasionally have carb meals here or there. Maybe one every 3 to 4 months. Okay. Yeah, that's a good strategy. It's all about context, guys. Like, there's no one set way. There's no, this is the one way to do keto. This is the one diet that works. It's about what works in your context, what you can maintain long term. Laura says, can you do a video on all the supplements, if any, that you take? Laura, look, all right, so that's there's a lot of clickbait videos out there. So a lot of people do videos like, oh, what supplements do I take? And they'll put all their Amazon affiliate links on there. They're just selling supplements, guys. There's no supplement that I take all the time. There's hundreds of supplements that I have around that I'll use in their context. But, I mean, this is from years of learning, from years of education on how to use nutraceuticals, how to use botanicals and herbs for various reasons. I don't just throw down supplements just because. So yeah, I don't do those types of, oh, the supplements that I take and put a bunch of affiliate links in it. It's misleading. Yvonne says, I've got about 40 more to lose. And I feel like everyone is looking, oh man, what's, my friend's here. ¿Qué tal, Ronaldo? ¿Cómo estás? I just brought a sack of meat. And look at Duke and Daisy. Jessica, can you come pay Ronaldo? Gracias, amigo. All right, we just got our meat delivery. Once a week, we order a huge sack of meat. We get like meaty bones and all kinds of stuff. And it comes from town. It was just 40 minutes away. And since I don't have a truck anymore, I don't have a car right now. Not anymore. It'll be back soon. It will be back soon. So yeah, he brings us, our buddy Ronaldo goes to the taxi spot and picks up our sack for us and brings us our big sack of meat that lasts us a whole week. So that's pretty cool. And fish. All right. I was curious because of the idea that we are more fungi than we think and of the immense benefits of mushrooms on cancer and brain trauma. Okay, so Kyle Smith's referring to his question earlier about psilocybin and about mushrooms in general. Yeah, I've been big on mushrooms for a while, man. Reishi mushroom, shaga mushroom, lion's mane, shiitake, maitake, cordyceps. All of these are incredible foods. A lot of people make like extracts, like supplement versions of them that can be really powerful. I'm a huge fan of mushrooms. So you mentioned psilocybin for things like cancer and brain trauma. They've done studies at MAPS on psilocybin for PTSD. I think it's, you know, I mean, I'm not really into the whole medical psychiatric or, you know, the Freudian psychological model, and I'm not a big fan of, I mean, Rick Doblin and MAPS, when you look, I don't want to get too into it. I used to think that if you could just sprinkle some of these substances on the world, then everyone would wake up. We could change the world, right? I think a lot of people think that when they first get into these things. And you quickly realize you're playing with fire if you take it far enough. So be careful with those mushies, my friend. And any so-called psychedelics, you're playing with fire. I'm not saying you shouldn't play with it. It's up to you. They can be really powerful tools, but those powerful tools can cut or burn. All right, NABIH, what's up, man? It says, I can't get enough calories in because I'm not hungry most of the time. I understand that's okay, but I'm worried that it might ruin my metabolism in the future. All right, so I'd like somebody to explain to me, somebody who's been indoctrinated into this fear of metabolism slowing. How is this going to affect your metabolism in the future? If you have 100 to 200 pounds to lose, you're trying to lose a bunch of weight, how is eating at a calorie deficit going to damage your metabolism permanently? By what mechanism does this occur? Why do people are so funny? People come on here and say, subscribe to me and add me on Instagram. This is what I'm talking about. It's just like, they've turned the millennials into this like groveling, like, oh man. Look, I love my generation, but man, we've really been busted up with this. This whole internet thing has broken our minds in many ways. Follow me on Instagram. Give me attention. Spend your time on social media. Hi from Germany. What's up, Chris? Vic Balls is always hanging out. Recommended me a good way to restore kidneys in general. Haven't been to a doctor, so I can't give details. Well, I don't know. Restore your kidneys? I mean, beets are supposed to be really good for kidney function. I mean, there's many botanicals that can improve kidney function. You know, what's a funny remedy that's been used for a long time? banana stem juice. So the banana tree, when you cut down the banana tree or the plantain tree, there's the stem on the very inside of it. In Thailand and in much of Asia, they make a soup out of this stuff. But that actually can clean out the kidneys and can dissolve kidney stones. Also, methylene blue might even be an effective kidney thing. But yeah, of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to give medical advice. I like to experiment with all kinds of things, though. Letitia, what's up, Letitia? Okay, somebody. How do you balance a healthy gut without eating starches and compromising the keto protocol? How do you assume that starches equal a healthy gut? That's what I'll ask you. Starches don't create healthy gut, my friend. All right. T.S. Odinson says, what's up, Tristan? Made those bagel puffs from the cookbook. Never going back to regular bagels.
That's huge on two bagels.
That's so cool. Yeah, the bagel recipe's awesome, right? It actually took Jessica kind of a while to get the right consistency and texture, the density of the bagels, and you can make any flavor you want out of those bagels.
So fun.
That's what's so cool. I mean, you can do like onion bagels, you can do poppy seed, you can do the everything bagels, you can do anything with that. So for those of you who want to check out that recipe, it is available only at primaledgehealth.com, and that's in Jessica's new book, The Ultimate Guide to Low Carb Baking, which is a game changer for a lot of people. Okay. How many bowls of Frosted Flakes do you recommend for breakfast? 2.5 to 5. 3 times a day. Tora J says, carbs are life. Okay. Linda, hello from Portugal. Says Linda. What's up, Linda? All right. What's going on? What else here, guys? We got some children who just discovered the internet who need to get blocked. You're out of here, douchebag. All right, I got to get your cookbooks. They look freaking awesome, says Yvonne. They are awesome. They're super cool. All right. Moshing says, was watching a documentary on the sugar industry, and apparently in the 1950s, Coca-Cola was advertised as a weight loss supplement. That's funny. But at least back then it had cocaine in it. No, not in the 50s. Before that. All right. What's going on, guys? Kukul Khan says, I've never had any social media, no IG, no Snapchat, no Twitter or Facebook. I never even had MySpace. Well, you're probably sane. You're a so-called millennial. Yeah, millennial, it's like a pejorative now, right? Oh, the millennials. This rain is intense. Larry says, thoughts on glutamine, creatine, and leucine on keto for building muscle. Yeah, all right, look, creatine can be useful for building muscle, 5 grams a day. Leucine, you don't need more leucine. It's expensive. You have elevated BCAAs on keto already. Don't waste your money on BCAAs. Glutamine can be good for gut health. You don't need it on keto. So stick with your creatine, drop the glutamine and leucine, save some money, and enjoy your life. All right. Tanner says, keto is definitely a powerful diet, but you think those living in the U.S. should be concerned about hormones in animal products? Absolutely. Go for grass-fed. Chris says, the carrot cake is an epiphany. Made it twice, and it's nearly the same as the Greek walnut cake. I love it. That's so cool. And that is in the cookbook. Vic Balls says, as long as your hangouts are chill, I'm hanging around. Thanks for the advice, man. Right on. Autonomous Prime says, talk to Grace Liu about starches. There's many opinions out there about how to maintain a healthy gut. Resistant starch, not necessary, and can be quite dangerous for a lot of people. Steve-O says, you're the only YouTuber who isn't annoying about keto. What? Somebody mentioned Keto Connect earlier. They said, when are you going to go on Keto Connect, do a podcast with Keto Connect? They're not annoying. I like their channel. They're just straightforward. They just do what they're doing. They don't try and be all fake about it. They just do what they're doing. I like their stuff. Not everyone's annoying. Come on, let's be nice. There's a lot of nice people out there. Of course, I'm biased, and I think we're the best. But yeah, somebody mentioned, when are you going to do a podcast with Keto Connect? Keto Connect actually interviewed me with a little bit of Jessica for their podcast, and that might be coming out soon. I want to have them on the channel as well, if they're down to come on. But shout out to Keto Connect. They're fun. To Matt and Mega. Keto Connect. All right. Tristan, what are your genuine thoughts on cannabis use during keto? Genuine thoughts on cannabis use during keto. If it benefits you, it benefits you. Cannabis lowers blood glucose. You might experience a difference in your level of munchies if you're using cannabis on a ketogenic diet, because you're used to having stable blood sugar. And when cannabis does drop your blood glucose, you probably won't get hungry and you won't get that weirdness. You know, you might actually find that the negative effects of cannabis are mitigated by ketosis. That's due to the increase in GABA production. Also, just the mechanisms that cannabis works by are very similar to ketosis. Cannabis forces you to burn fat in the mitochondria and cytochrome C. Alright, Moshing says, I may or may not have been smoking weed one time and would get huge cravings for cartoons and frosted flakes. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. American Heart Association president has a heart attack. Maybe now he'll come over to the fat side. Man. See, I wouldn't wish a heart attack on anybody, but that's... Cue Alanis Morissette lyrics. Alright. In Uruguay, we don't have a grass-fed label because this meat is effing awesome. It's all grass-fed. Yeah, that's what's up. Uruguay and most of Latin America, you don't have a reason to be grain-feeding cattle. The grain-fed cattle phenomenon is more of a recent thing in the United States. It is a power grab for companies like Monsanto. It's an incredibly inefficient way of raising animals and livestock. It's very environmentally destructive and inhumane towards the animals. And, you know, I mean, it's like the vegans like to latch onto that one, but they're right. You know, I mean, industrial agriculture is very destructive. All industrial agriculture. You know what's even worse? Industrial corn, soy, and wheat production. Even worse than this grain-fed meat stuff. But yeah, you're in Uruguay, you're blessed. You don't need grass-fed because it's all grass-fed. Kukulkan says, I love using cannabis and CBD oil in moderation. Yeah, I think they can be great in moderation, right? Anything can be great in moderation, and that moderation is important for most things, right? All right, is spirulina and chlorella okay for keto? Maria Brizuela. I've been eating an average of like 2 to 3 tablespoons of chlorella every day for like a month. I love chlorella. Chlorella and spirulina are very keto friendly. They're mostly protein. What's that, babe?
Put them in the pumpkin cupcakes.
Ah, Jessica's got a good idea. Go to the pumpkin cupcake recipe in the Ultimate Guide to Low Carb Baking and use spirulina in that recipe. You can also try adding spirulina to the keto flatbreads recipe, which is in the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook and available for free on our website. But spirulina is a really cool way to get in those green pigments, to get in the chlorophyll, which is really close to magnesium. They're also good sources of potassium and magnesium, and they've got all the essential amino acids. So they're a great source of protein, and they're delicious. Grigor, continue to do what you do. Love all your videos, man. You're the best, with question mark. Well, thank you. Flatter me. Oh, flatter me, Grigor. I will not be puffed up with flattery. Alright, I have chlorella and I don't know how to use it. It tastes disgusting, says Letitia. Like I just said, put it in some baked goods. Put it in broccoli muffins. The broccoli muffin recipe is available on our website for free, and it's in the Ultimate Guide to Low Carb Baking. Alright, it's pouring rain, and I think I'm going to start wrapping this up, guys. Oh, Letitia asked, how do I take it? Alright, so how I've been taking chlorella lately is when I make my breakfast, which is usually eggs and like meatballs or eggs and some beef or eggs and sardines, I'll just scoop chlorella in there. So I'll put some, use some butter, coconut oil as a fat, and I'll scoop a bunch of chlorella in there with my eggs, with my meat, and it's delicious. I mean, it sounds gross. It makes your food look disgusting and green, but I don't care how it looks. I'm not about the looks. It's about function. Spirulina is a little bit more of a mellow taste, says Jessica. I mean, I like chlorella. I like the taste of it, so it is what it is. It's all about putting it with the right things and in the right context. You know what I mean? Like garlic by itself might be disgusting to some people, but garlic prepared correctly, roasted, can be so good to everybody. In the UK, nearly all meat is grass-fed. As Shakespeare said, this green and pleasant land, we get a lot from Ireland too. The grass here is great. Super important, grass-fed. But also, it's not just the, it's not just the diet. It's also the antibiotics that these things are being shot up with. The recombinant bovine growth hormone. All these hormones that get pumped into it, and the antibiotics can have negative aspects for us as well. So you want to be careful. Just get the good meat. You can source grass-fed meat. Get the grass-fed meat. I made a video today about how to save a bunch of money on keto. And it wasn't even titled that, but you know what the video was about? Not wasting your money feeding your blood to your frickin' Tamagotchi. Stop feeding that dumb blood glucose meter. Stop feeding your Gigapet your blood. Every time you do that, it's like $3 to $5. There's like a pound of grass-fed meat right there in some places. Or half a pound. Get grass-fed meat from your local rancher and you will never go back to grain-fed again, says Moshing Fanger. Right on. Alright, what else is going on, guys? Bella says good day. What's up, Bella? Question for Jessica. Is the coconut cream you use in recipes such as turmeric black pepper cream sauce a canned product? Jessica,
Is it what?
coconut cream, does it come in a can? You can get it in a can.
You can get it in a can. It's called coconut cream concentrate. Blah, 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 blah. That's close enough. Or you could get it. You could use the coconut milk, and then if you put it in the fridge for a little bit, there's that thick part that comes off, and that's the cream.
There you go. Alright, we're going to start wrapping it up, guys. My audio might be poor. Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Is my connection okay? Alright. Petey says, well, clearly not the live stream for me. Never stop pumping them carbs, my dude. Alright. Petey the child is out. Later, dude. Look at these people come in here and try and troll. It's like, you're just going to get banned instantly. Alright. How often should I resistance train on keto? Context. How often should I resistance train in my life is going to be different than how often you should resistance train in your life, which will be different than how often Ariana should resistance train. It's all about context. There's no one answer to that. Like, 3 days a week. For me, I might want to resistance train once a week or nonce a week or 5 times a week. Depends on my goals, depends on my stress levels, depends on what I'm trying to do. In here, coconut oil is really expensive. Is it bad that I don't use it? So you're in Uruguay. No, it's not bad that you don't use coconut oil. If you can get good grass-fed butter, you're fine. You don't need coconut oil. It's nice, it's good stuff, but you don't need it. It's not absolutely necessary. Kukulkan says the blood glucose meter is a vampire. Yeah, that's my new thing. Your blood glucose meter is a hungry gigapet, and you're sacrificing your blood to it day in, day out. Your money, your blood, sacrificing your money to these pharmaceutical companies. You're sacrificing your blood to a freaking gigapet, and you're outsourcing all your feeling. You're outsourcing your subjective feeling of what it means to be alive when you're constantly looking to a number on a blood glucose meter for justification. Measure progress by what you're trying. Measure what you're trying to progress towards, right? If you're trying to progress towards fat loss, measure fat loss, not ketones. How long can you keep coconut cream in the fridge? If it's fresh, 3 to 5 days probably. Do the smell test. Emolier says, I couldn't have hit my goals without your videos. Thank you so much. Emolier, you could have done it. Maybe they helped. But it's like, it's your goals, right? Like, I don't do anything for you. I can sit here, I can say some words, and maybe one of those words will hit you at the right time, at the right angle. When are y'all going to have maca back on the shelf? I don't know. I do not know when we're going to do maca again. We've got maca here, but yeah. Letitia says, thank you so much for all this info. Really, you're helping me to get healthy. I'm 26 and almost diabetic. Thank you both. Right on. Mark McGee says, probably a stupid question, but I plan on making the carrot cake for my family on Thanksgiving. If I make multiple cakes, how long do they keep? A week? Yeah, they'll keep for like 5 days probably. Make the frosting separately. Also, Mark, good idea might be to make them in cupcakes. Ariana likes the carrot cake cupcakes.
Yes.
I would eat those carrot cake cupcakes right now. Those sound delicious, and I'm getting hungry. Yeah, the carrot cake, it's delicious, right? So the carrot cake recipe, for those of you who do not know, that carrot cake recipe is available on primaledgehealth.com for free, and it's also in... Oh, man. People are so dumb. Alright, banned. Another ban. The carrot cake's delicious. It'll keep for a few days. Phil says, I'm happy to hear you speaking on healing mushrooms. I've never heard anyone online speak of keto and adaptogens. A lot of people talk about adaptogens. So, lion's mane's really amazing as not only an adaptogen, but also for BDNF generation, for generating more neuron growth in the brain. If you eat a lot of lion's mane, you feel tingly. Like I ate like a half pound of lion's mane the other day, and I got super tingly all throughout my body. People say that that's actually, you're feeling your nerve endings growing. I don't know if that's true, but that's what the folks say. Moshing says, I can't understand why people want to troll on... No, people just troll on everything, man. It's like, this is the internet. This is what I'm talking about. And it's not just trolling, it's also like people are coming on here and saying, subscribe to my channel, go to my Instagram. This is like, that's their strategy for driving traffic to their shit. This is what you get when you listen to Gary Vaynerchuk hype you up with a bunch of profanity on, wow, you gotta make a bunch of money on the internet. It's like everyone's out there trying to make money with nothing to say, right? What do you have to say? What do you have to offer? Subscribe to me on Instagram. Subscribe to my channel, I'll subscribe to yours. It's just like, this is pathetic. Come on, guys. Wake up, millennials. Alright. So what else is going on, guys? What else is going on in the world? The Marshall, what's up, man? Ramos. Look at all these people watching. I keep threatening to end the broadcast, but then I get all these more questions. Lucas Garcia, what's up? April, what's up? Letitia, I really want to see the face of my doctor in 3 months looking at me healthy, saying I eat a ketogenic diet. Why do we feel like we need to justify our health with doctors? That's a funny program, right? You know the last time I went to a doctor? Actually, no, 2 years ago I went to a doctor because I had this like bacterial or viral thing. I took antibiotics. And maybe it was like a year ago. But that was the first time I've been to a doctor in like 9 years. Gary DeFrench, I'm not going to read your question because I'm not trying to get controversial, but no way. No way am I putting that in my body, man. Or my kids' bodies. Health freedom, my friend. You have the right to decide what you put in your body and what you don't put in your body. And no one has a right to force you. Are carbs truly the enemy? No! Carbs are not truly the enemy, guys. That's what we've been talking about the whole time. The enemy is hyperbolic conjecture, nonsense marketing that puts people into a state of confusion. The enemy is not carbs. See that little kid? What's up, dude? You like carbs? Are carbs bad, Ryder? Ryder says carbs are bad, but I agree with him. Look, you got growing kids. Those kids need carbohydrates. You have a human brain. Parts of your brain needs carbohydrates. A ketogenic metabolism has many benefits, but to say that carbs are bad because keto is good, or that carbs are the ultimate evil, is ridiculous. Right? We're in the United States, the standard American diet is not a high carb diet. Standard American diet is high carb, high fat, high calorie, processed foods, high glyphosate diet. It's a high neurotoxin diet as well. All right. So strawberries are okay on keto diet? What are you responding to there? If you're doing keto, too many strawberries are not desired. I'm talking about carbs in general. Carbs are not the enemy. If you're doing keto, too many strawberries could lead to increased hunger and keep you off path. So, but yeah, strawberries are fine in a reasonable amount on keto. Low sugar fruits can be fine on keto. Berries like blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, in reasonable amounts can be okay. What would be your approach in talking to diabetics who are not trying to hear about keto without offending or acting like you're lecturing? How would I lecture someone without them knowing I'm lecturing them? So you got a friend who's diabetic. You want to tell them about keto, but you don't want it to come off like you're lecturing them. I think anecdotal evidence is really good, like just telling them, hey, like I heard this story, or like this is what I experienced, right? I mean, sharing your actual experience honestly and vulnerably will break through the barriers of pride and, you know, fear and all that. So you just got to be vulnerable. You got to be real. If it's your family, all right, you say it's your family, so that can be even more difficult. A lot of times family doesn't want to listen when you have something to say, especially, you know, they've known you since you're a kid, so they're like, man, I know you. You were that snot-nosed little kid who used to cry to me for milk every morning. Like, I'm not listening to you, son. You know, it's like your dad might have that attitude. If he does, it sucks, right? But, I mean, how do you get through that? You can't force your way through that. You don't want to try and force your way through that barrier. You remember that scene in They Live? Anybody seen They Live? He's like, put the glasses on. Roddy Piper's telling his buddy, wear the glasses. You got to see. When I put these glasses on, I see reality for what it is. He tries to put the glasses on him. The guy literally wants to kill him. They get into a fist fight for like 5 minutes. They're fighting in the street. And at the end, he beats him up. He finally gets him to put the glasses on. Or he beats the shit out of him, and then he forces the glasses on him. That's not the way to go about it. Don't beat the shit out of your family and force them to wear the magic glasses. Is there a significant difference between the way your body runs on keto versus Atkins? I don't know. I mean, what is Atkins? How do you define Atkins? Low protein versus higher protein. What is low protein? Keto is not a low protein diet. Keto and Atkins could be the same thing depending on how you're doing it. It's all, I mean, these are just conjectures. And this is just, it's words. It's marketing terms. Keto, Atkins, this or that. You cut your carbs low, you get into ketosis, and that's a ketogenic diet. Most people on Atkins are really doing a ketogenic diet. Osaka says, oh, all right. All right, backing up because somebody mentioned vitamin D here. Light. The individual who mentioned that he got into a major depression and got off of keto after his 2 injuries. Light is crucial. When you are recuperating from an injury, your mitochondrial health is really important. Getting certain frequencies of light can be really beneficial and advantageous for improving your mitochondrial health, for improving the energy your mitochondria can take up. So there's certain frequencies of light. And to this individual, I forget your name, man, but here's what I want you to do. If you know who I'm talking to and you're still here, comment down below, because then I got something else for you. But there's a product called the Juve. It's a light, 660 nanometers and 810 nanometers, infrared light and red light blasted on your body. Can improve your mitochondrial health, decrease inflammation, decrease depression symptoms, and has all kinds of amazing effects. Look into red light therapy. Look up this word, JOOVV. I don't have any affiliation with this company, but they make an amazing product. Their light is pretty expensive, but it can give you drastic results and can definitely help with the healing process. And it's seasonal affective disorder as well. Like me, if I don't get outside, if I don't get sunlight, I get eggy, I get anxious, I get depressed. So, you know, when it's raining out, like look at this right now. Check this out. It's nice because we need it. We've had a lot of fires this year, and it's good, you know, and it smells amazing. It charges everything up. But you know what? Oh, you wanted to get in there? You're so patient. I was sitting on a cooler, and Ariana wanted to get into it the whole time. She didn't say anything. But yeah, you can use selective lights like that. So, you know, this product, it's relatively expensive, but it can be a really effective way to get in those light frequencies that you would be getting from the sun. All right. Are roots veggies a healthy source of carbohydrates if not on keto? Like potatoes. They can be, depending on the individual. Some people don't do that well with starches. Some people do great. Gary DeFrench says, great film. Yeah, They Live. John Carpenter, I think it was 1987, the year I was born. They Live. Fantastic movie. It's hilarious, but also it's dead serious at the same time. Anecdote for what's going on right now. And isn't it funny? It's like they were beaming the frequency through the television in that film. It was we gotta cut the frequency off. It's in the antennas. And then how the guy that was on the television telling people what was happening ended up being a part of the whole program, ended up being the sellout. I thought that was fascinating too. James Young says, I feel so much better on keto. If I eat high carbs now, I feel sick. Thanks for all the informative videos. You've helped me significantly. James Young, don't feel like you're stuck into that carbs are going to make me feel sick all the time. All right, so after a couple years, and I experienced the same thing. I thought like, oh man, keto feels amazing. If I eat carbs again, I'm going to feel like crap. Because the first few times I tried carbohydrates when I was on keto, I did not feel very good at all. Not at all. It took me days to feel better. But you know what? After like 4.5 years on keto now, I can eat carbs, and when I eat carbs, I don't eat like junk food, right? I eat healthy carbohydrates, but I can eat them and feel fine. Do you need something, Ari? Ari's studying me. She's listening very intently. I think she's sad. Oh, that's why, because it's raining. You wanted to go ride, and you don't get a ride. Did you call Renee? You talk to him? Ariana was going to go ride her horse, but it's pouring rain. That sucks. Tomorrow we'll go ride in the morning, though. You don't want to ride tomorrow in the morning? All right. Ari's a little disappointed. She's crying, guys. Osaka likes They Live as well. Yeah, it's a great film. Osaka says, I was out in the park doing grounding with sunlight earlier today. Dad won't go that far, but he was obviously D3 deficient, and it helped him dramatically. It's winter here now, for sure. If he won't go in the sun, get him the vitamin D, but also vitamin K too. If you're supplementing with vitamin D, you need to supplement with vitamin K too. Especially, you want to use like MK7. That form is really good. Should we limit the amount of canned fish like sardines we eat per week because of mercury? I had 3 sardines today. I had 3 cans of sardines today. Sardines are very low in contaminants. Sardines are delicious. And, yeah, no, I don't limit the amount of sardines I eat. They also come... Oh, there's vitamin K. So, here's a good version of vitamin K. Oh, chucking supplements. There you go. There's one supplement in context right there. If you're using vitamin D, use vitamin K too. That can also be really good for kids. See Ariana? She takes one every day to keep her teeth strong. To keep her bones strong. All right. Faith says, this is why I watch your channel. You keep things simple. Keto Atkins is only as complicated as you make it. Exactly. Keto and Atkins could be the same thing, or they could be different. You say low protein, high protein. These are all just, it's just rhetoric. How do you define low protein? How do you define high protein? I'm about adequate protein. You get enough protein and you're good. John C. says, Tristan, I'm 90% on board to buy the Juve Light. Is it worth it? Well, shoot, don't buy it until I get a affiliate code. Then I'll no, I'm just kidding, dude. John, yeah, man, I think it's worth it. I mean, as far as the stuff that's out there right now, it's the best one. I wouldn't recommend... I used to have Jack Cruz on a few times. He was trying to hawk some product. I wouldn't recommend that thing. Go for, as far as like red light products, I think it's the pinnacle one out there, is the Joovv, Joovv. Also, the Vilite, they make a head unit that can be really powerful, more expensive. The Joovv is full body. Your kids can use it. You can use it. You can set it up in your office. You can increase your testosterone by blasting your midsection and your testicles. Your testicles. Yeah, I bought one. I didn't even get a discount. I'm selling them for you guys. You don't even give me a discount. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want a discount. I think it's a good product, and I hope that they succeed in spreading the word on red light therapy and getting more people outside in the sun ultimately, right? Because that's what's really important. Getting people outside, getting people away from their cell phones, getting the millennials off of their, I gotta make money on my cell phone kick, get out in the real world. I told my friend that most doctors are just going to guesswork half the time. There are good ones and there are bad ones. Okay, I'm not sure what you're talking about there, but all right, let's see. What's that, Ar? What are you eating?
Frozen yogurt bark.
Yogurt bark with strawberries. Wow. So strawberries, yogurt. Is there any honey in there?
Yes.
There's a little bit of honey too. That's cool.
So Ryder don't know can have
All right. Is carbonation bad for you, like seltzer water? No, carbon is not bad for you. Carbon dioxide. In fact, carbonated water can help you retain more oxygen. Carbonated water can help you to hydrate better. We need carbon dioxide to retain oxygen. There's a balance of gases in the body. Everyone focuses on oxygen. We've got balances of all these gases: nitrogen, nitric oxide, oxygen, carbon dioxide. They're all very important. Ryder's so cute over there. Ryder's wow. I don't want to interrupt Ryder, but I would show you guys what he's doing, but it's just, I don't want to interrupt. So yeah, carbonated water. I mean, we've got Guitig here in Ecuador. Guitig in Ecuador is similar to Pellegrino. It's better than Pellegrino because it's not owned by Pepsi or Coke. Which one owns Pellegrino now? Is it Coke or Pepsi? It's better than Pellegrino. It's better than that other one too. What's the other one that's popular? The sparkling water, mineral water. Ecuador's got amazing mineral water. Guitig. But you actually, carbon dioxide retention is really important. Will Pender says, rest in peace, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Rowdy Roddy Piper actually said that They Live was more like a documentary and that it was actually like a true representation of what's going on in the world and in Hollywood. I thought that was really funny. Gary says, your kids are adorable. Of course they are. Thanks for everything you do. You've helped me a lot. Trying the 1 meal per day thing. When to go to the gym, before or after the meal. Much love to you and your family. If you're insisting on doing the 1 meal a day, then what you're going to want to do is probably eat before that. I mean, eat before your workout, rather. Perrier sparkling water. Is that what you're thinking of? Yeah, Perrier. This stuff's better. Guitig, except it doesn't come in glass. That's the only problem. It comes in a plastic bottle. It's still so good.
Oh my.
Dominica says, how do you speed up your metabolism on keto? My guts are so numb now. Oh man, so you're constipated on keto. What you gotta do is make sure you're getting enough sodium, magnesium, and potassium, man. You need sodium every day. Make sure you're getting in at least 3 teaspoons of salt. That's a good way. For most people, 3 teaspoons of salt is enough. Get in 3 teaspoons of salt. Magnesium, I usually recommend supplementing with. Magnesium citrate can be a mild laxative, but not too strong of one, and it can get you some magnesium in. So you might want to take, like, I don't know, 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium citrate each morning or evening to get things moving, but getting enough sodium is going to be key for you in moving your body. Maurice Foster, what's up, dude? Says, hello from Barbados. I have tinnitus, and I've been on keto for a few weeks, which seems to be helping with the intensity, but I can't be sure yet. Are you aware of any links? Yeah, you know, I mean, the reason for the tinnitus, that's an interesting thing. I mean, we don't know why you got the tinnitus, right? Is it, do you have a nerve that's messed up, a little bit of inflammation in there? Is this a brain function thing? I mean, there are many different theories on what tinnitus actually is. There's no real definitive answer. And isn't it funny, like most of the things people experience, we don't have a solid answer for, right? It's pretty crazy. Tinnitus, look, if you're feeling better already, go with it, man. Right? Like, there's nothing more powerful than the placebo effect in medicine. So rock that placebo effect, dude. If you think it's helping, it's helping. It's reducing inflammation. If you feel better, if your cognition is improved, if you don't notice it as much, it's probably working. So keep your inflammation low. Keep ketoing forward, my friend. All right, Frederick says, I work at night. My shift starts at 12 midnight, and I notice I stay awake more with white light in the office, especially LEDs. Do you think this can mess our system up? Yeah, I know it can. I've talked about this all kinds. White lights, blue light frequencies tell us to wake up. So if you're working at night and you're under this bright white light, it will increase inflammation, it will increase cortisol, and it creates more reactive oxygen species, and it damages the retina as well. It actually destroys DHA in the retina. So what you want to do, is... Where'd the question go so I can remember? What you want to do is minimize your artificial light exposure. And Frederick, you might actually want to look into that Juve light that I was talking about. You might want to look into putting that Juve light. Low battery. I got to start closing this down, guys. You might want to look into that Juve light as a way to actually regenerate your mitochondria because they're taking a major hit from those night shifts. By healthy carbs, do you mean I can have a little rice/gravy or potatoes? James, I don't know what you can have, man. I'm talking about healthy carbs for me. I don't know what carbs are healthy for you, dude. Some people got sensitivities to the potatoes. Oh. What's up, Ryder? He brought all his little tools over. Gary French, no. Sometimes in Peru, but not Ecuador. Interesting, right? Es porque no es natural. John says, what's the Jew light? No, not a Jew light, the Juve light. Joovv. So yeah, look into that for like seasonal affective disorder. If you got a disrupted circadian rhythm, you might want to look into it. Maybe I gotta contact this company. Okay. Joovv, 2 V's at the end. What are your thoughts on peanuts? Not the best food, high omega-6, aflatoxin can be an issue in them, but in moderation can be fine. Some people, they're not going to bother you. Food quality is important. There are many better nuts out there. Macadamia nuts, walnuts, pine nuts. Ariana loves walnuts. Macadamias, pine nuts, all those are great. What do you think about calorie restriction as a method for slowing biological aging? That's a great question. Jungle peanuts, says Steve-O. Exactly. Most people don't know what they are. We got a bunch here. We like the jungle peanuts. We make our own peanut butter sometimes with that. And they have more monounsaturated fats and less of the nasty PUFAs that you don't want a lot of. What else? How do you raise your mitochondria levels? Well, you don't raise your mitochondria. You can increase your mitochondrial density and improve your mitochondrial function through proper circadian rhythm. Things that might disrupt mitochondrial function would be reactive oxygen species production, meaning too many carbohydrates for too long in the context of too much fat. So just overload of calories, standard American diet. Reactive oxygen species from toxic load. Poor sleep can make you create more reactive oxygen species and not regenerate your mitochondria as much. Also, generating more mitochondria, ketosis will generate more mitochondria, meaning restriction of carbohydrates or fasting can increase mitochondrial density. Look at this.
Tristan surprised.
Meatballs. We keep talking about making a video on how to make the beef heart meatballs with Mama's Best Meatballs from the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook. And here's the video. That's it. There's the recipe. You make meat into a ball, you eat them. So yeah, increasing mitochondrial density. Also, lifting weights, increasing strength training can increase mitochondrial density as well. Osaka says pecans are great for keto. Yeah, they're expensive though, right? Same with pine nuts. They're great for keto, but expensive. Carter, trying to build muscle on keto. Increase daily protein or fat. Increase both. If you're trying to bulk, you're going to want more protein, so get 0.8 grams per pound of your goal lean body mass. So if you're doing 0.8 grams per pound of your lean body mass already, increase it by 10 to 20 grams a day. Increase your fat calories to create your surplus. 10 to 15% is more than enough. Actually, you only need a surplus of, to actually build some lean muscle mass, a pound of muscle. I think it takes, 100 calorie surplus each day for a month can build a pound of muscle. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think that's the breakdown. It sounds about right. So you don't need that much more calorie intake to build muscle. Yvonne says, I'm jealous of the rain here in SoCal. Yeah, I'm from SoCal. Yeah, we get nice natural weather here in Ecuador. No hay modificación de la lluvia aquí. Carter. So, building muscle on keto. First of all, you have to tell your body it needs the muscle. So you have to train. You got to do resistance training. You got to get sufficient calories and sufficient protein. And fat is your energy source. I think I'm going to start wrapping this up. Ryder's stacking these things up. That's cool. Show me again. Do this one.
And then we put it in that.
That's cool. Are you gonna juice that? These are the pieces of a Green Star juicer. That's funny. All right. Frederick says, have you heard of peely nuts? Yeah, peely nuts can be cool. They're kind of expensive. They're huge nuts. I got a friend who's really into peely nuts. He's like a raw vegan guy. He loves them. Peely nuts can taste kind of like chocolate almost, and they're really creamy if you make peely nut butter. So yeah, I'm not actually the nutrient profile of them. I think they're high in monounsaturated fat, maybe low in polyunsaturated fat. Moshing Fanger says, does Ecuador have a lot of tourism? Not so much, which is good for people who live here. But yeah, I mean, there's some. And the government here is crazy right now. They just, I don't know, it's in constant flux. They just did something with health insurance where they might force tourists to prove they have health insurance before they come, which I think is insane, and that'll really shoot tourism in the foot. But Ecuador's got major tourism stuff like the Galapagos, and there's some other spots. Peru is bigger on tourism, which is good for people who live in Ecuador. Osaka says, sometimes muscle size will seem to plateau a bit, but strength gain should steadily increase no matter what the mirror is saying. Yeah, well, you can build strength without adding muscle mass. You can build strength just through changing the quality of muscle without changing the quantity of muscle. Dominica says, I live in Northern Europe, Lithuania. Natural sunlight is a really rare thing here. What do you think about doing a solarium once a week for people like me to get that UV and vitamin D? I think it's a good idea. Try to get one that's got a low EMF. Or get one for yourself, man. I mean, if you're like, I'm on it, like, you know, when I work with wealthier clients, I mean, these things can become an option, like buying your own UV bed. You know, I mean, a Juve light can be a good way to get in light, but it's not UV. But you want full spectrum, you know, you want full spectrum sunlight. So going to a solarium can be beneficial, man. Just go on a vacation, go soak up vitamin D somewhere. Rima says, I'm finding a hard time staying on the keto diet. Most people around me are encouraging me to eat more carbs. Any advice? Rima, you've hit the oh wow, look at that. You stacked that up, dude. Look at that, homie. What are you gonna do about that? Now what?
I did not do it. He did it.
He did it. He's just staring at the camera now. Yeah. What was the question? Staying on keto when people around you are trying to get you off. Look, when we try to make changes in our life, when you try to do something good for yourself, something that inevitably happens to most of us is you realize that you surrounded yourself with people and habits that hold you back and make excuses for you. And it's hard to see, right? Sometimes it's hard to see that all our friends are freaking losers. Like, you gotta admit to yourself, though, if you're hanging out with a bunch of depressed losers, a bunch of angry people, a bunch of people who are complaining about everything all the time, who don't make things happen, who don't make the changes that they want, that they know they should make, you're hanging out with the same people you hung out with in high school. You might have to actually, you know, suck it up and realize that the social circle that you're surrounding yourself with just might be toxic. So, you know, we can get environmental toxins, right? You can get toxic load from your environment. You can get mold, you know, fungal stuff. But also, you can pick up environmental toxins socially. So if you're trying to make changes to better your life, to get your blood glucose under control, to you know, get your hunger under control and your cravings, and to break your addiction to certain foods, and people are telling you, you're so lame, you're so boring, come drink with us. What are you gonna quit drinking? Or you're gonna quit smoking crack? Are you gonna quit doing meth? I mean, whatever it is, right? Whatever. I'm not saying that's what you're doing. It's just an example of like a negative behavior where people are socially surrounded by the same behavior, and then they're vibrationally entrained to it. Surround yourself with people who get it. And I'm not saying surround yourself with a bunch of sycophants who agree with you, right? Because I mean, I'm making assumptions here, right? I'm talking in generalities. But for a lot of people, like, the social circle can be a major holding space. A major holding space for you. A major holding space that's just keeping you from growing and becoming the person that you really are. The expectations of the people around us can greatly influence us, can influence our consciousness. And physiologically and mentally, and psychologically, we entrain ourselves to our environment. So while we're changing our diet, we gotta change our environment. If we're trying to become healthy, if we're trying to break addictive cycles, we've got to change our environment. If you're around toxic people, you'll intake that toxicness, those toxic thought forms, the way they speak, the way they go about it. You will pick that up. Hanging out with a bunch of materialistic people, they're just worried about money, appearances, vanity, falseness. You will soak that up and you will start to resonate with those thought forms. Thoughts are things, thoughts are not us. Thoughts can be implanted. Thoughts can pop up from subconscious. They can bubble up from the unconscious.
Nice.
Thanks, Ryder. Ryder hooked me up with a... It matches the wall behind me. You got to have friends who enjoy talking about ideas and concepts, except about material things or other people. Right, I mean, surround yourself with people that make you stoked on life. Surround yourself with people that help you to elevate, that elevate with you. Don't surround yourself with a bunch of negative people who are trying to drag you into their negative habits to justify their laziness and to justify why they don't want to change. You're going to be better than you in a month from now. You're going to be better at what you're doing. You stick with it. You're going to be much better of an individual. You're going to be a much stronger person. You're going to be much more effective in your life. You stick with what you're doing and don't listen to what the herd tell you. The sheep want to call you back into the fold. Archer says, I had the same problem as Rima. Friends at the canteen always ask me, am I crazy? How can I not eat carbs or not eat at all when I was outside of my IF window? See, this is how the prison is maintained. The prison is open and the door is open. We choose if we want to be in it or not. The ultimate prison is the one where the prisoners are the guards. See Stanford Prison Experiments, MK Ultra Sub-Projects. Very interesting stuff. All right, sticking to keto is hard, but not impossible when visiting grandmas. No, grandma, I don't want any cookies. Yes, I'm sure this this goes one for about 25 minutes. All right, so grandma wants you to eat the cookies. You know what? You know what's cool? Grandma loves you regardless. Your grandmother, your mother, and your father. At the deepest level, maybe not on the surface, right? There could be distortions on the surface or whatever, and it could feel conditional. But really, at the real human level, your grandma loves you regardless of if you eat her cookies or not. And if you tell your grandma, hey, I would love to eat these cookies, and I know they're going to taste delicious, but I'm doing this diet for this reason, grandma. I've got diabetes. I'm trying to lose body fat. All right, I can't do this down here because there's too much noise. I'm trying to lose body fat. I'm trying to improve my life. I'm trying to become a better person. And I'm changing my dietary habits, grandma, so I can't eat it. I guarantee you grandma's going to say, I love you, little Johnny or Jenny. You don't have to eat my cookies, but I wish you would. Tell me about the cool diet you're doing. Oh, that's so awesome. You're so pretty. Look at your little cheeks. Let me pinch them. Yeah. So yeah, Rima, surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people that will help you elevate. Don't surround yourself with paperweights. Steve O says, suffocate negativity. Yeah, you just starve it out. Right? That's the thing. For a lot of people, the social circle and the social environment can be a huge stumbling block. So you are what you eat, right? You are what you eat through your mouth, through your ears, through your eyes, the senses that we take in. So if we're constantly taking in negativity, if we're constantly taking in, materialism, greed, all this nonsense, then we're going to resonate that. So we got to maintain a steady diet, not only on what our foods are, but like what are you really feeding on, right? So are you feeding on the social pressure of your peers? Are you living your life being fueled by the perceptions and opinions of other people? And is that really life? Is that really you? Are you really you when you're performing for other people? Everybody who's watching this. Yeah, so surround yourself with, and I'm not saying sycophants and like-minded individuals, meaning like, when I say surround yourself with like-minded individuals, I don't mean surround yourself with people who just parrot everything that you think. Don't surround yourself with an echo chamber, but surround yourself with people that challenge you in the right way. That when you mess up, They're there to push you forward in the direction that you should go, not to beckon you back down into the snake pit that you fell into and that you climbed out of and need to move away from. Dominica says, love the way you just changed your place from that noise. All right. All right, everybody. That's it. So we're going to wrap this up. It's been an hour and a half. The rain's starting to calm down. I wish it wasn't raining because I actually want to go ride a horse too. I'm so sore. My legs are so sore. We got 2 horses yesterday.
Show them.
We can't show them because we can't. All right, you want to tell them about it?
Oh.
Tell them about your horse?
Oh, Petalo.
What's your horse's name?
Petalo.
All right, Ari doesn't want to talk. She wants to be silly. So anyways, we got 2 horses. I went riding with Ariana this morning. It was really fun. I went riding yesterday for like 1 hour, and I was so sore. And I'm still sore. I went riding for like an hour today again. My legs are so sore. It's so much fun. All right, everybody. We're getting out of here. We're going to wrap this up. For those of you who watched and enjoyed, you can find more at primaledgehealth.com. We talked about a lot of stuff today. I think some of the really important take-home points are at the end here with the social situations and stuff like that. I mean, especially with the holidays, New Year's, stuff like that. You got people trying to change their lives, people trying to be better. You're surrounded with things that are dragging you down into the mud. Release yourself from those chains and move forward. Doesn't matter what these people think or say in the long run. What matters is your connection to life and what's real and what's true. All this other nonsense, all that falseness, dragging you down into that, caring what other people think, caring what other people say about you, doesn't matter. What matters is your connection to life, your connection to the truth, and what are you rippling out into eternity? What's the point? All right, you can find more at primaledgehealth.com. We mentioned 2 books. We talked about the ultimate guide to low-carb baking. I got Sconet Waldell just baited me back in. Says, show us more pictures of your Jimmy. When I first read that, I was like, what? But that could be taken in a weird way. But my Jimmy is our truck. It's almost done. In the next few weeks, I'll show you more. You guys will see it. It's almost finished. The engine's done. The transmission's done.
Yeah.
It's being painted. I'm finishing up the paint and the bodywork and then do the interior and all that and then hopefully drive it within the next month. I'm sick of not driving it. I miss it. But anyways, guys, you can find more at primaledgehealth.com. Check out the ultimate guide to low-carb baking, available exclusively at primaledgehealth.com. Dominican says, what's a Jimmy? It's just a Blazer. It was the Chevrolet Blazer. It's an 82 Blazer. It's just an old square-body Chevy truck. But it's going to be badass. All right. You can find more at primaledgehealth.com. Check out the ultimate guide to low-carb baking, which is great for the holidays, great for gatherings. Instead of eating grandma's cookies, bring grandma some of your cookies. Bring grandma some of your carrot cake. Make these simple low-carb meals that can help you stick to your plan and not get crazy cravings or jump off your diet. And then also check out the the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, a training manual for low-carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. That one's the basics. It's the fundamentals, how to prepare nutrient-dense, whole foods-based keto foods every single day. It's got Mama's Best meatballs in there. It's got a bunch of other recipes that we use each and every day. So, primaledgehealth.com is where you're going to find both of those books. Go live life. I'll see you guys later.